Alright, hi everybody. You know what time it is? It's time for Shingeki no Kyojin. I will say this about this episode. They added filler again in this episode. They did a few weird things with this episode. Um, with conjunction with the manga. They did add some filler. But once again, I must say, the filler was good. I actually enjoyed it. I actually like what they did there. They they focused on one specific character and something that Annie said to this specific character, who I believe his name is Marlowe. She said it to him, and it ringed over what was the whole bit of the conversation. But yeah, Shingeki no Kyojin, episode 23, Smile. The final moments in this episode. Now, I did see the laugh, Annie's laugh. I can't believe I'm saying this. More creepier than the manga. Yeah, I think so, to a certain degree. Because in the manga, see, it's different. You don't really get to see her full expression. But in the anime, she's blushing. I'm like, yo, no. That was too much for me. Too much for me. But yeah, the basically majority of it was slow moving because majority of it was just talking and certain things happening, and then it really resolves into this confrontation later on. But in the beginning of this episode, we have Annie, and she's waking up in her bed, and she's ready to start her day as part of the military police. And she gets up, she forms a line, and one of the officers there is coming in with the orders that they have to protect the survey squad as they make their way to the capital, and so on and so forth. And there's this one guy there, Marlowe, and he's like he's trying to change. He wants to change the military police supposedly, and he's saying, "Oh, why are we protecting the survey squad?" And his guy there is like, "What?" Like, giving him back talk, and he throws his papers right in Marlowe and say, "Here, you'll read them. You're in charge. Just don't screw this up." And that's basically what happens there. And after that, we have the manga was a little bit different than from someone. I want to put my 2 cents in here. It was a little bit different, but still had the speech that we needed to hear in this episode, and that's this speech that Annie gives Marlowe, and when he's talking about he's going to change the military police, and one of the girls in the military police is like laughing on the floor because you're really some kind of guy, and she says to him about this whole thing about somebody that she knows that is like that has the courage to go against the flow, so on and so forth. And she has this whole conversation with him about it. And I remember this conversation. It was an interesting one, and saying how being an idiot, she respects that. So, and who she's talking about is obviously Eren. So she respects Eren for what he's trying to do or go against. And at the same time, we have Marlowe, who is not trying to do that. But that was the whole conversation. After that, we have this little filler scene where we have this guy, these two officers who are higher in rank in the military police selling the military police equipment on the black market. And Marlowe's really upset. He confronts them, and they just beat the shit out of him and tell him to get the hell out of here. And it results in Annie getting involved, saying, "Stop it, because if you continue any further, it'll become a bigger scene than it already is." And that other one girl that was laughing at him, saying, "Oh, we'll you know, discipline him and everything." And they leave, and he's about Marlowe to grab the gun and shoot them. And Annie says, "Do it. Are you going to do it?" And he doesn't do it, and he asks him, "Would your friend do it?" And she says, "Maybe." And then she starts talking about how that people who are weak should be more human-like, and so on and so forth. And that's when we get the meat of the potatoes of this episode. And that's when we get Annie lining up as they're coming in, and she's running with them. And we hear someone call her name. That calls Annie's name, Armin. And he shows up covered in, and he's basically asking Annie for her help in getting Eren out, because he's going to go to the capital and they're going to kill him, supposedly. And then she tells him no at first, and then he goes, "Oh, you should help because Eren's going to die," and all this other jazz. And she asked him an interesting question, that if I help you, would I be considered a good person? And Armin says, if you don't help us, you would be considered a bad person. And she decides to help him, and she puts on this ring. I'm not spoiling anything. Puts on this ring. And then she walks with him, with Eren and the gang. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, and Annie. And we find out that Jean is taking Eren's place in the wagon as it's going through to the capital. And they are on their way to escort Eren out. And Annie's asking Eren, like, what would have happened if I didn't escort you guys? What would you have done? And he's like saying, oh, we would have used our maneuverability gear. And she's like, oh, that's insane, and so on and so forth. Then they go down to this underground area. And Annie stops. And I remember reading this in the manga. Pretty much, she's implying that she's weak and she doesn't want to go down there, and so on and so forth. And then, Armin's trying to get her down there. Eren's even protesting her to come down there. And she says, I can't. And there's this one scene where we see members of the survey squad and other people around. And I was like, oh shit, this part. And the moment Mikasa took off her thing and says, I'm sick and tired of this, she takes out her sword and says, I'm going to cut you to pieces, female Titan. I was like, yes! That scene, the last couple of minutes of this episode were fucking awesome. Just awesome to the max. It was just unbelievable. I mean, I was floored. Because we had the whole animation sequence was so intense. I was like, damn. Then of course we have Eddie's laugh, and she says, "Oh, I'm glad you consider me a good person, Armin." And it's like, now I'll bet mine. And then she says she's going to make her bet on him. And that's when that happens, oh, these fucking people out of nowhere just rush Annie and stop her. Now, the ring she had on actually has this hidden blade in it. And what she did was she took it out and she cuts herself and she turns it to, come on, people. It's a big flash light. But that's where the episode ends. We see the flash of light and that's where it ends. And I think everyone, I'm not going to say what happened. You pretty much know what happens. This is the reveal. I can say it now. Annie is the female Titan. Hey, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. But yeah, and then that was the end of the episode. Now, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. Now remember, there's 2 more episodes left. That's it. Oh, shit. 2 more episodes left. Now, these last 2 episodes are going to be... That's not sugarcoating it. I'm not sugarcoating anything. That is going to be... It's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome. And it will be televised. Especially the final episode. I'm not going to say anything about the final episode, but I will say this. Expect big shockers in the final episode. At least I think. But this was a good episode. I love the ending. The ending sequence of this episode was just phenomenal. The reveal was phenomenal. Animation was phenomenal. I thought they did when Mikasa was going to go, that was awesome. And just the whole, that last scene was done so great. So, this gets a 5 out of 5. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, how you would call it. But this was a great episode of Shingeki no Kyojin, episode 23, Smile. 2 more. 2 more episodes. And then, that's it. That's it. 2 more episodes, and then we are done with this anime. Oh man, I can't believe it. 2 more episodes. We will see where this goes. It's anybody's guess where this is going to go. But I have my suspicions for the final episode. I have my suspicions. Now, if anyone is just dying to know what is going to happen, I'll give you a tidbit. This only tidbit. This episode occurred in chapter 31, 32, around there. If you're interested. And listen, don't come hate me if you were like, those spoilers. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying what happens further on, but if you're interested to know where this happens in the manga, it happens in chapter 32. But, and I like what's going on here, like I said before. Good episode. Annie, the life was kind of lightish, like Life from Death Note, but it was creepy. She was blushing. I was like, what the? Blushing? I was like, damn. She was creepy. She was pretty freaking creepy. Nah. But yeah, this is gonna be awesome, people. This next week and the following week, final episode. It's going to be phenomenal. I shit you not. It's gonna be awesome. Get your diapers ready. It's gonna be awesome. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, Bankai 922. I'll see you guys later. Annie. This bitch. I was King of Lighting. He was like, this bitch. And I'm like, this bitch. I'm not calling my episode review this bitch. I'm going to call it Smile. But yeah, Annie. She's female Titan. I mean, most people could have figured that out. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Come on. Yeah, I'm Bankai 922. and I'll see you guys later. Peace.